Sorry for the late. Usually I'll start at 6:05, 6:05, less than 6:05 only. I will start my session. Yeah, let me continue. This class is UI Technologies. Here UI, here it is user interface. Here UI. This class is web UI programming. Here UI, here it is user interface. We can create user interactive page by using this UI technologies. Here we can create user interactive page. What is this user interface? What is this user interactive page? See here, user interface here. In this time, when you enter any URL in the browser, suppose if you enter facebook.com, here whenever we enter facebook.com, you can see that Facebook homepage of the application. Here you can see that Facebook homepage of our application. In this time, we can ask the user to enter their email ID and password. Once we click on the submit button, data will be submitted to server. Here data is submitting to server, server will connect to database. This type of interactions you can observe here in every server program. Front end always interact with the server page always interact with the database. So this type of interactions we can see in every web page. Here in Gmail, suppose if I enter email ID and my password. So after entering that email ID and password, once we click on this login button, here login button, once we click on this login button, that user interface, this is one UI. This UI page will always interact with the server page. This server page always interact with the database. Here database. These database pages are here, MySQL, SQL Server, Oracle. Like this, any one database page we can use. Here, these database pages are MySQL, SQL Server, Oracle. Any one database page we can store our details. So, what is storing and what is accessing here? If you are creating your account with this UI page, it is here creating our details in the database. So we are inserting whenever we create our account here, create account page of the Facebook, that time you will fill your complete application form here, email ID, first name, last name, all information you will fill here. After filling it, this will interact with the PHP. This PHP page will interact with PHP page or a .NET page or a Java page, any one server page. This server page will interact with database. This type of interactions you can observe here in every front end to server, server to database. This type of interactions you can observe here in every front end program. Here is our UI page. UI page is interacting with the server page is always interacting with the database. So here, this time what happened here, whenever we submit our data to server, definitely we have to interact with the, we have to store our details or access our details from database. So database is very important for us to storing our data and accessing our data. Okay. Here this server page, what it will do here, this server page is connected to database. Database will back it into the server page. So server page is a mediator to interact with front end page to database. See here, I want to log in for my Facebook. So I'll write here Facebook login. Here you can see that Facebook login. Under this, here Facebook login you can see here. So this one, you can see that how to see that Facebook login page. Here this is my create account page. In this create account page, whenever we submit our data, here I am submitting my data here. So this time here I am creating my account with this Facebook. So once I click on the submit button of this Facebook, this data will reach to submit. Once I click on the submit button of this Facebook, this data will reach to submit. Server will store our data in the database. Here submit, once you click on submit button, this front end page is interact with server page. Server will store our data in the database. So database, what it will do? Yeah, front end page is interacting with a server page. So server is interacting with database. So in this interaction time, whenever our front end page is interacting with the server page, so that time that server page, what it will do here, the server page will store our data in database or access our data from the database. So here, if I already existing user without any writing data, if I submit it, I'll
వెబ్సైట్
get
వీడియోస్
this
వచ్చేసి సార్
error
2020
messages.
వీడియోస్ సార్ అవి నాకు
So this
సర్వి
is one complete user interactive page, any web page, not only Facebook, any web page.
అలా
If you
ఏం
are
లేదు అంటే
submitting any
2020
data here,
వీడియోస్ డైరెక్ట్
so
అప్లోడ్
it
ఉన్నాయి అన్ని
always interact
వెబ్సైట్లో
with the
లేటెస్ట్
server,
వీడియోస్
server
అంటే
will
సార్
interact.
5000 ఉంటుంది
Here
లాస్ట్
from
ఒక
this
5 కానీ
URL you can
4000
understand
లేటెస్ట్
here
వీడియోస్ కావాలి
loading.php.
సేమ్
So
కంటెంట్
it is
సార్
one
అంటే మేము
front end
కొందరు
page.
అడుగుతారు
Once I click
సేమ్
submit
కంటెంట్
button after
ప్రెజెంట్
filling
అయితే
all these details, once I click submit button, this total data
లేదు నాకు
will reach
రీసెంట్
to
బ్యాచ్ వీడియోస్ అంటే అది 4000
loading.php.
కాస్ట్
Means this front end page is interacting with a PHP page. So this is one URL example
అంటే
for
సార్
a
యాక్చువల్గా దానికి
front
ఎందుకు
end
అంత
is
తక్కువ అంటే
interacting
మేము
with a
వెబ్సైట్లో వచ్చేసి మేము
here
లైక్
front end
70%
page is
డిస్కౌంట్
always
ఇస్తున్నాం కదా
interacting
అందుకే మీకు
here.
లేదంటే అది కూడా
Here this is
5000
one
డిస్కౌంట్
example
లేదా
here. The front end page UI page is always interacting with
అది
a
ఓన్లీ వెబ్సైట్లో ఉన్న
server
వీడియోస్
page.
మాత్రమే
This server page
70%
always interact with
డిస్కౌంట్
database.
డ్రైవ్ యాక్సెస్
Here this is the application. Here front end page we can develop it by following these all programmings. HTML, CSS, JavaScript, here jQuery, Ajax, here Bootstrap, here Lessons as, then responsive design, then Bootstrap, so lesson as and responsive design project. One real-time project I'll explain to you. This will goes every Saturday session. Every Saturday I'll go with the one real-time project session. Real-time project. So real-time project, one implementation of project I'll explain to you, and every day in my class I'll explain topic and the topic related task I'll give to you. So you have to complete the task and send your information to us. So that way we have to complete. So this is our UI page. UI is interacting with a server page. Server is connecting to database. These all interactions you can observe here in every front end page. In every front end page, this UI page always interacts with the server page. The server is interacting with the database. This type of interactions you can observe here in every front end to server, server to database. Here this server page, what happened here, that server page, here that server page we can able to develop it by, here this is our server page, that server page we can able to develop it by MySQL or SQL server or Oracle. So like this, any one PHP, .NET, any one server programming will use it. Here PHP page or a Java page or a .NET page. Any one server programming we can use it here to create this server page. To create this type of server programming, we have to use any one server programming. That way we have to develop. Today is 14th November 2022 at 6 a.m. Here this server page we can able to develop it by any one server programming. So just now we observed here this PHP page is one example here. Front end page is developed by UI programming. Those all involved all these. Along with this, present development is going on in the framework level. This is one user interface content, code content. Okay. Here to develop that user interactive page, we always use, along with these all, we have to use any one front end page and server page and database, right? So to create this type of environment, we have to know about this server page is interacting with a database. So these all interactions, whatever we are creating here, these all to create these all interactions, we have to use along with this all content, we have to learn any Angular or React or Node.js. If you know that, then it will be easy to enter into the UI world. In UI programming, if you want to be a developer, you have to know all these topics. Along with that, if you know any one framework, then it will be helpful to join as a front-end developer. Okay. Here we are in front-end programming. To create this front-end programming, what all required, we can see. User interface here. This user interface is connecting with a server page. A server is connected with database. So databases are here. We no need to learn any database, any server programming. Why? Because if you are a full stack developer, then only you have to know any one database, any one server programming. If you want to be a front-end developer, you can go with any one framework of front-end. So server side, they are looking for framework developers, PHP, Laravel framework, Java, Spring Hibernate framework, .NET related frameworks. So everywhere they are looking for the framework level programmers. Here in front end, they are looking for the framework programmers. Here who know Angular or React or Node.js. Here JavaScript frameworks. Here JavaScript, in JavaScript we can learn here. This is separate codes, Angular or React.js or Node.js. If you know any one framework, then it will be helpful to join as a server side developer. So front end, full front end developer, front end, only front end. If you want to be a full stack developer, you have to know server and the server related framework, and database and web services. If you know all those, then only you can be a developer, a full stack developer. Full stack developers headache is too much. They have to take care of everything: front end errors, server errors, database errors, whatever the connection. So we will make all the connections. It should run properly. Otherwise, we cannot run proper output for the client. So everywhere, every field, they are looking for the framework developers. So here, whatever I wrote here, this is our front-end programming. This our programming always interact with the database. Database always interact with front-end page, is always interacting with a server page. A server is interacting with database. Database is interacting with front-end page. These all interactions here, two-one-two interactions, you can observe here in every front-end programming. Okay, this time here, every time what we do here, server is interacting here, front-end page is interacting with a server always interact with database. So in this interaction pages, here what happened here, whenever we submit our data to server, definitely we'll get some result. See, if I enter my proper input here, I can see that next level of the page, inbox page, Facebook inbox page. If I create my account with this Facebook, and if I sign in for my application, Facebook sign in application form, if I fill these details, if I click login, then I can see that inbox of the Facebook. So that inbox of the Facebook is coming from server accessing from database. These all interactions are observed here in every front-end. So in every front-end programming, you can observe here, front-end page always interacts with the server page, the server will interact with database. These all interactions you can observe here. See here, I already logged in for this go to training. You can see here in this go to training how the interaction is. Here in this go to training link, you can see that here. This is our front-end page. I already log in for this. See what all the links are available, how many students are registered. These all tabular information coming from server page. This total tabular information is coming from server page. This server page will access this total database results, database data from this data, total columns, all these columns of data is connected to server page. That server is interacting with a database. Those all interactions you can observe here in every front-end page. Front-end interact with the server interact with the database. Those all interactions you can observe here in every front-end program. Here we are interacting with the application here, Facebook application. This Facebook application we can develop it like this. Here, server programming here. Front-end page is interacting with the server, server interacting with Redux. These all interactions you can observe here. If this is our front-end programming, this front-end programming is interacting to server, server interacting to database. These all interactions you can observe here in every front-end programming. So here as of now, I'm going to explain these all topics in the next 2 months. Almost 40 to 45 hours, 40 to 45 hours of session, Monday to Friday topic session, total duration I'm going to cover our topics all like this. So final achievement, what we can achieve after this 2 months of time, 45 hours or 2 months of time. You can see here one attractive user interface. Yes, please mute. You can see that some attractive user interfaces you can see here. Here ABC drinks. Here you can create that ABC drinks site here. In that site you can see that every loading time, this is one drink site. Here every loading time, every refreshment time, that web page will change its theme. See here, every refreshment time, the theme of the application is changing. Complete theme of the application is changing here for every refreshment time. So that is possible by our front-end programming. See, color, complete theme is changing. Not only color, complete theme is changing here. So once again, if I refresh it, see here how it is changing. This way, we can create our front-end page. So always front-end page is interacting with the server page, the server is interacting with database. So every refreshment time, that application is changing its theme. So this is possible by our front-end programming. See, if I click go down, see here, I'm clicking down button of my application. See, content is coming up, can is coming in the front of the application. Front when coming in Z dimension, X, Y, Z axis time. Z dimension, it is looking like it is coming forward. Forward from the screen. Okay, here means X, Y axis, on the screen only X, Y axis, and this is Z axis. See here, it is sitting on one layer and content also going up. This type of interactions you can observe here in every front-end program. Not only the same interactions, this type of application development we can do it with our. See here.
అసలు ఏం ఇంటరాక్ట్ అంటే మన వీడియోస్ రికార్డింగ్ కదా అంటే మీ లెక్చర్స్ లో సర్ కంపేర్ చేస్తున్నారు సార్.
This way, see here, if I go up, see can is coming along with the movement. See can is coming down.
అదే అంటే
these all the list of
ఉన్నాయా
themes.
జావా ఫ్రేమ్వర్క్ అడిగారు.
Here, these all the list of
అంత
themes.
ట్రిగర్స్ అసలు
You can
వర్స్ట్
see
అని
here
పెట్టారు సార్.
in this. Here list of themes
Under
are
trainers
available
worst and
here.
better,
If you
sir.
click it, you can open that particular theme.
అవును సార్. దుర్గా సార్
That
ఉన్నాయా
particular theme of the application you can
మీతో
open
అదే
here.
మీ వీడియోస్ తో పాటు కంపేర్ చేసి చెప్పారు ఇంకా సార్.
Yeah. You can see that particular application like this. So this way we can create our application. Here, if you are creating any application for the front end, that application we have to develop it in this way. This is the way of implementation of our front end page. Is
Okay, sir.
interacting
Okay,
to
sir.
server is interacting to database. Those all interactions you can observe here in every front end programming. Here in every front end programming, you can see that type of output. See, if I click next button here you can see that all review information. See, complete page is not loading. Just only 1, 2, 3 are changing. See, here itself it is changing here. This is with Ajax code. Only page number is changing and content is changing in this white color. But it is not refreshing my entire URL. It is not changing my URL. But I can see all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages. So this is with Ajax code. Here we'll learn one by one each and every topic, whatever is involved in any application. I'll show you with the sample examples and I'll show you with the real-time implementation. I'll take one URL from the website, from the Google, any one URL will implement it from this bench. How to use Bootstrap, how to use HTML, how to use CSS. So each and every topic, how to use it, I'll explain to you with the real-time implementation. After completion of these all topics, you can go for any framework programming. Other faculty is conducting framework classes. So you can go for any framework programming. In that framework programming, you can understand how we can implement an application. Here, JavaScript framework programming. If you know any one framework, JavaScript framework, then you can stick with the front-end implementation. If you want to be a front-end developer, you have to know any one framework, then it will be helpful to join in the front-end. So this is totally about the front-end programming. In this front-end programming, we are going to see how we can interact our application with our programming. Those all you can understand here with this. Next, here we are interacting with the front-end programming here. Front-end, how it is interacting with the server, server, how it is interacting with the database, what all involving in this application I'll show you. Here, this is one ring site. When I click down, there is no XY movement, but you can see some content here. Here, but see here, this is some content and that image. Both will change. If I click next button, here, not working. Okay, sir. Here, if I move next, so it turns to move to the next one.
Hello, Akka.
This much. But here you can see that every number it is changing here, content is changing here with our program. So 1, 2, 3 pages I can read it here. Here 1, 2, 3 pages I can read it here and this review page. Okay. This way I can write my review here. See here directly slide up, slide down effect. Ask you a question. Here also it is slide up, slide down effect. This we can create it with our front-end program. These all colors it is showing here. When you right click and inspect element here, you can see that how the application was developed. Here, if you right click and inspect element on the application, you can see that how the web page was developed. Here you can see that here doc type, HTML, head and body. Here doc type, here it is document type, HTML tag, head tag and body tag. If I remove the body tag, just delete the body tag, see here you cannot see any content here. See, you cannot see any content here if I remove the body. So once again I can refresh it. Here refresh. So now you can see that here if you right click and inspect element here, here right click and inspect element here, you can see that console here. So here in elements you can see that if I don't write the body tag, you cannot see any content here. If I don't write the head tag, delete this head tag. See, I deleted that head tag, you cannot see any content. See, that output is coming like this. You cannot see any content here if I delete the head tag. Sorry, body tag. If I delete the head tag, see here how much big arrow symbols and big size image. Yeah, some glass symbol, glass image. Here images, very big size images you can see here in the application. See, all are displaying, but there is no proper order for this. Every content it is displaying here, but there is no proper output for alignment for the application. There is no proper alignment for the application if I don't write the head tag. So inside the head tag we are writing here CSS code, JavaScript code, jQuery code, Ajax code. Those all codes we write it inside the head. Inside the head we can write it here inside this head only we can write it CSS code, JavaScript code, jQuery code, Ajax code, those all codes we write it inside the head. So this way we can develop our output. Here all front end programming, here front end is always interacting with the server always interact with database. But every HTML application, if you check it here, any HTML application you can check it here, every HTML application is developed by, here you can see that here it always developed by doc type HTML, here doc type HTML, here root tag as HTML start, HTML close. Here itself you can see that head start and close and body start. You can see that head tag and you can see that body tag. Okay, here you can see that head and body for the application. Head tag and body tag you can show to the user by this application. Here head tag is used to write header information. Under this we can write it here style tag. So this is the basic HTML code for every application. To check any application, take Facebook or matrimony or any website, Twitter, any website you can take here. Every website, social network websites or a newspaper websites or a recharge, mobile recharge or a banking account, any website you can open, that website will be developed by, here that website is developed by, see here you can see that latest update something it is giving for us. When you right click here, inspect element here, you can see that, see here, see you can see that how we can develop it. See doc type HTML head and body. You can see that doc type HTML head and body. Here it is document type and HTML tag, head tag and body. Every HTML application, every website, when you right click and inspect element here, you can see this basic code. If I don't write the head tag, I cannot apply CSS, I cannot apply JavaScript. If I remove the head tag, I cannot apply CSS code. But CSS and JavaScript code, sometimes you can also write it inside the body. Here, when I write it here, script tag and style. Generally, script tag and style tag, we write it inside the head. And inside this body tag, here inside this body tag, we can write it here, h1 to h2 tag, h6 tags, all tags, we can write it here, h1 tag, h2 tag, like that, h1 to h6 tags, we use it here for writing all about headings. So one by one tags, we are going to see completely HTML for the next 10 days. So HTML4, first I'll explain under this UI programming, HTML4. Every day, once one particular topic is over, after that topic, I'll explain to you how to implement that particular topic in the real time. How to use this particular topic in the real time, I'll explain. First few days in HTML4, here our order of our web UI content, here whatever I'm going to teach you, these all course content I'm writing. HTML4 and 5, CSS4, and then CSS2. First 10 days HTML4, next 1 week to 10 days CSS2, next JavaScript to almost 20 hours. Major duration, half an hour duration is set for JavaScript. In JavaScript, I'll explain to you core concepts, advanced concepts, and then object-oriented programming, closures, prototype, everything related to JavaScript. I'll explain. Here after that, I'll go to the HTML5. In HTML5, to write few tags, we have to use for writing of few tags, we have to use the tag based some tags here, HTML5 tags, by that we can execute. Here next we'll go for CSS3. Next we'll go for jQuery. Here jQuery. Next one here Ajax. Here Ajax, so like that will continue. Here Bootstrap, then Lesson 6. Here less programming and SAS programming. Here jQuery, HTML5, CSS3, jQuery, Ajax, Bootstrap, Lesson 6. So these all topics I'm going to programming. Here in our web UI course content, I am going to cover these all topics. So in this, here HTML 4 and 5, CSS 2 and 3, JavaScript, jQuery, Ajax. Here these all topics. Here in JavaScript, I'll explain to you how to connect it with the JavaScript, how to execute our program. Those all I'll explain to you in this JavaScript. Okay. Here that way I'll execute my programs. That way only I'll develop my output. Here in this course content, here HTML basically creates the content of the web page. Just now we observed here every web page is started with the standard code. Every web page is starting with a doc type, HTML, head and body. So in between less than and greater than whatever code we write it, that is what here HTML. HTML is a hypertext markup language. It is completely a tag-based program. So if I write it here 1.html, that 1.html I can easily develop it for my application. Okay, if I am writing here 1.html, this 1.html is used to create our application here, and this 1.html is always used to write our HTML coding. This HTML coding, this is the HTML standard code. Inside this HTML page only, we are going to add CSS code, we are going to add JavaScript. So in tomorrow's session, what I'll do, I'll explain how to write HTML real-time project. I'll open one website, I'll design it as it is. So in front of you, from the scratch. Designing file, front end, that application, home page, about page, login page, create account page. Like that, one by one pages, all how to create it, I'll show you in front of you. So by that, you can understand how to use our programming to develop our output. Here, basic here, UI programming we are discussing here. This is what here, HTML page is connected, or HTML page, we can write like this. Inside this HTML page only, using script tag, we write JavaScript code. Using style tag, we are going to write CSS code. So CSS code we can write, JavaScript code we can write, and HTML5, HTML4, CSS3, all codes we can write it inside the HTML page like this. So now you can see that here HTML page is interacting with your UI page is interacting with the server. So these all interactions you can observe here in every front-end program. In every front-end programming, you can see this type of applications. So in this time, what happened here? If you are developing any front-end application, that front-end application has to submit their details to the server page. Server, so we never interact with any server. As of now, I explain just in our course how much server knowledge is required, that much I will explain. But we are not going with any complete server level and database. So whatever details you are submitting from the front-end page, that input tag, text box, buttons, video buttons, and that whatever data is filled, that data I can able to submit to server. Server will interact with the database, it will store our data in the database. So that time what happened here, whenever we are submitting our data to server, definitely what happened here, that server page has to store our details in the database. So front end is always interacting with the server, server will store our data in the database. Those all interactions you can observe here in every front end to server, server to database. Those all interactions you can observe here in every front end. So here in this time what we are doing here, front end page, server programming, database. These all interactions you can observe here in every application. So as of now we discussed what is the use of web UI programming, what all involving in that to create a real-time application, what all involving in that, front end, server, database, what all important there. And if you develop any application, With this, what is the use of HTML? What is the use of CSS? So where we can use it? If you have started implementing any real-time project, where we can use CSS file, where we can use JavaScript file, where we can use jQuery file. Like that, piecewise. So separate programming, how we can use it and where we can use it. Those all I'll explain to you in the tomorrow session. Okay. Today, tomorrow is a demonstration time, and Wednesday onwards I'll start my first session of UI programming. Okay, just last Saturday I completed my UI programming. Every day recordings I'll update in Drive. So that Drive you can hear almost 50 hours sessions I have conducted for that before batch. Okay, you can see that everyday recordings I'm uploaded in one drive from Durga Soft. I'll get one drive. That Gmail drive I'm going to share with you. In that drive only I'll store my with that drive I can be in contact with you. Everyday recordings, paint file, programs, everything I'll share there. So from there only you can access my everyday classes, everyday recordings. Even if you miss your class, you can get it from this. Here this recording will be shared with a number of students who are registered for this course. Okay, who are completed their registration. For them this is previous batch. Like this I'll create your batch, 6 AM batch. Here like this I shared with all the students. Almost 20-25 students will be there. Depends on that attendance. If students will come to the class. Here recordings. Here you can see that all recordings here. All recordings I uploaded here. See 20 to 50 to 54. Here total here, and here you can see programs. Here HTML4 programs, HTML5 programs, CSS2 programs, CSS3 programs, every programming, all separate folders I'll create it, and I'll create one real-time project. I'll show you one documents, course content, lessons as programming, all contents I'll upload here. Here all course content, topic wise, all separate doc files I have, all doc files I'll upload here. So from this you can access all the everyday recordings, drive and paint files. Whatever I'm explaining in the paint window, that all paint files I'll upload. So from here you can check it how we can use our programming, how we can implement our programming. Those all you can understand from this. Okay. Like this I'll explain to you each and every program. That's it for today. We'll meet tomorrow 6:5 like that. I'll join in the session. Today this go to meeting link give me so many redirections after login. This go to training link. So that's why I joined late. Up to now, any doubts?
So, hi, this is Arun, and I have a doubt.
Yes.
So this today's session, I mean, even I had some issues. I joined late, so I can find recording in a different link that you will be sharing.
Yeah. You contact Bhavani ma'am. She will share today's recording where she uploaded that link. She will share with me. I'm sharing her number. Okay. Any other doubts?
Yeah, and you were talking about Angular and React. So when
Yes.
we go into JavaScript, so that is where you are going to share the basics of the Angular, and we are going to just move on. Or,
No, there is no basic part here. Angular is different. It works on TypeScript, but the similarity will be there. Similarity will be there, like JavaScript programming. We have TypeScript and Angular. You will learn it in Angular class.
So JavaScript is different. I mean, right now we are just using JavaScript in this course, but Angular is a different framework without.
Yeah, it works on JavaScript.
Got it. So JavaScript, can I consider it as a basic thing?
Basic.
Yeah.
Basic into Angular or React. Yeah. Yes, any other doubts? Yes. If you have any doubt, feel free to ask your questions. So by that I can understand how you are really interested in this course. Namesake, if you attend the class, no use. If you practice, if you keep your time for practice, 1 hour for listening the class, 1 hour for practice, 2 hours if you have it, then only attend the class. Just a namesake, if you attend the class, no use. If you attend Angular, React all at a time or attending 5, 6 courses at a time, no use. Just go one by one. Yeah. Any more doubts?
So we are talking about Ajax and Bootstrap, jQuery. So as part of UI content, where we are using it, like in the HTML programming itself, we'll be using, or it's going to be different.
Angular, what you are asking?
No, no, Ajax, Bootstrap, jQuery.
Ajax Bootstrap. I'll let you know. Tomorrow, one by one, I'll let you know how to use it.
Okay, I mean, just a high level, I want to understand where we are using it. So you can see it.
Yes. Java, Angular based JavaScript. Can we learn Angular based JavaScript? What? Yeah, Angular based only. Angular is a framework of JavaScript. To learn JavaScript, alphabets of JavaScript, you'll learn here. That sentence forming grammar part is Angular. Like that will be fine. You can learn separately. Content, course content, you can get it from that number, what I shared. That is Bhavani ma'am's number. You contact her for the course content. Yeah. Okay. That's it for today. We'll meet tomorrow for the continuation of class. Thank you. Thank you. Peter, James, Pravalika, Rams, Rohit. Can you hear me? Thank you. Let me continue. Yeah. Here, web UI. Yesterday I explained little bit introductions on web UI technologies and revise the session today, and I'll continue to this topic. Here we are discussing web UI technologies. Here, web UI. Here UI, here it is user interface. We can create user interactive page by learning these all topics. So we are going to see here HTML 4 and 5, CSS 2 and 3, like that. We have some topics. After learning all these topics, you can be a front-end developer. If you want to be a UI developer, you have to know all these topics along with here you have to know all these topics here along with any one framework. Angular or React or Node, any one framework if you learn, then it will be helpful to join on the front-end development. Here, user interface. We can create user interactive page by learning this UI technologies. Here, UI, here it is user interface. What is this user interface here? Suppose if I am entering one URL here in the browser, www.twitter.com. So whenever I enter twitter.com, I can see that home page of the Twitter. See here, when I enter Twitter here, I can see Twitter. Here, I am able to see the twitter.com home page like this. Here now when I want to go for sign in with Google or sign in with phone anyway phone number, anyway you can sign in here. But whatever you are seeing here, this Twitter page, it is showing us some social media network website. See, if I enter here Facebook.com, I can see that Facebook one user interface. One user interface, I can see the topics. Here, if I enter here, online recharge, online recharge, mobile recharge, prepaid recharge, all recharge websites will be there. Here, you can go any one site and you can complete your registration. Here, sign in account, here pay the bill, phone number, circle, amount, view plans. Here I can view the plans. Here depends on the number. Okay. This way we can see that here whatever application we are developing here, that application we can easily develop it with our front-end programming. Here this is one UI. Whatever, if you enter any URL in the browser, whatever you can see in the browser, that is what here front-end. So whatever you can see in your application, that only we call it as front-end. Here to create this front-end programming, here to create that type of programming, so here we have to know this is one front-end. To create this type of front-end, we are discussing here. This is one Facebook web page. Here you can see that email ID, password. When you click sign up button, so I can able to see my inbox page. Here fee recharge, here recharge account. If I enter mobile number, circle and plan, I can do that recharge of my application. See, if I want to sign in for this, I can see that sign in page for this Amazon. See, everywhere some text boxes, buttons, submit buttons will be there. Submit button. After entering your details, you are submitting. So whenever you submit your URL from your browser, if you are submitting anything, it always redirect to, after submitting that particular page, it always redirect to server page. Then if I am submitting from this Amazon, I'll click on submit button. So because of this submit button, I can connect to server page. This server page always connected to database. Here this is the one front-end page, it is connecting to server page. Here this server page always connected to database. This type of interactions you can see in your front-end page. Here this is one UI page or a front-end page. Your front-end page of the application. Here this one, here it is a server page. Here it is a server page. Here this is what here server page, and this is what here database. Here database. This way we can create it. Here Oracle, MySQL, SQL server, like Sybase, MongoDB, like that. We have so many database servers. We have so many databases. So if we use these databases, then we can develop one complete application. One complete application you can develop it by learning these all server-side programming. Here this is our front-end page. In this front-end page, we are connecting to server page. PHP page, Java page, .NET page. These all are server programming. Server programming everywhere, server side and front-end side, they are looking for the framework level developers. Here framework, this front-end programming, to create that type of front-end, we have to know HTML 4 and 5, CSS 2 and 3, JavaScript, here jQuery, here Ajax, here responsive design, then Bootstrap, here lessons as, here responsive design, lessons as, here HTML 4 and 5, CSS 2 and 3, JavaScript, Ajax, responsive design, Bootstrap, lessons as.
Okay, sir. Now I will see.
6 a.m. What is your question? Difficulty, yeah? Rohit, I am conducting 2 batches. One is offline at afternoon 12 p.m. One is 6 a.m. So very soon I'll start after 15 days like that. 9 p.m. I'll start one more session. 9 p.m. new batch I'm going to start after 15 days. This time 6 a.m. or 6 p.m. I started HTML. If you want 4 or 5 backup classes, I can give 6 p.m. I'm in HTML 4. First topic, few tags are
ఈరోజు ఉందా
completed.
క్లాస్ మీకు
6 a.m., 6 p.m., 12
నేమైతే
p.m.
తగ్గిందా
And
రెస్ట్
9 p.m. it will be after few days. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, Rohit. Yeah. Here HTML 4 and 5, CSS 2 and 3 lessons has, and then JavaScript, jQuery, Ajax, Bootstrap lessons has. Here responsive design, then project. Rohit, I cannot listen your voice. One real-time project completed. JavaScript, HTML 4 and 5, CSS 2 and 3, jQuery, Ajax, responsive design, Bootstrap lessons as,
హాస్టల్లో పప్పు బాగా పెట్టింది.
and one real-time project I'm explaining to you every Saturday session. Monday to Friday I'll take topic session, and every Saturday I'll conduct project session. This way I'll continue in this. Here I'm discussing front-end programming. Under this front-end programming,
మీరు విన్నారా సార్?
yeah. But I don't need backup class for that. You can join today. Today 6 p.m. You can ask Bhavani ma'am. Bhavani Durga Soft organizer. I'll share her number here in this chat window. You contact her. Yeah, assignment I'll give you once the topic is over. Everyday assignment I'll give you, and project session will be every Saturday session. If you are interested to go for examination, I'll conduct exams every Saturday after practicing. After project session, I'll conduct exam. In that exam, you can understand where you are, where is your status and all, means where you are, how you are practicing is going on. Those all you can understand with this. Yeah, by the exam. By the exam, you can understand how your practicing is going on. And real-time implementation. Every time, suppose if I'm explaining table tag, the table tag related practical example where we are using, those all I'll explain to you in the here. Those all I'll explain to you from in the class itself. 80% of syllabus. Here 80% of syllabus you can learn here itself. Bhavani ma'am's number I shared in this chat window. Please all of you note down this for the future reference. All link details, class timing, other class timings, when is the demo, what is the drive. Every day I'll share in one drive, everyday classes, the drive information, everything you can get it. Everything you can get it from that. All informations you can get it from that number. Yeah, HTML 4 and 5. Yes, any more doubts? Yeah, you can ask her to join, him or her to join in the same link for 6 a.m. Other link 6 p.m. 4 classes are over for that, 4-5 classes, and other link is 9 p.m. I'll give you backup for 6 p.m. that 4-5 classes.
Hello.
Yes. Yes, please.
Yeah, actually she want to join. She was trying from 6 o'clock. It was not coming to her.
Give this number. I'm giving some number here. 34. That how she is trying in the app or
From this app only.
App only. So directly join with the number. I'm sharing one number. This ID she can enter in that meeting ID place where it is asking ID. If she enters directly, she can join. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
It's here I'm going to cover these all topics in this web UI programming. Here is our front-end programming. In this front-end programming, I'm going to cover these all topics. HTML 4 and 5, CSS 2 and 3. Like this, I'm explaining all the topics. Here, front-end programming here. This is completely a front-end programming. I'm going to discuss HTML 4 and 5. Yeah, number will not, that ID, meeting ID is for only few days. not for all days. Here I'm discussing front-end programming. Under this, HTML 4 and 5, CSS 2 and 3, JavaScript, jQuery, Ajax, responsive design. These all topics I'm going to cover in front-end. But here presently, yes, please mute. Who wants to be a front-end developer? They have to know, along with this all topics, they have to know any one framework. Angular or React or Node, any one framework, if they know, it will be helpful to join as a front-end developer. Okay, here frameworks. Framework. If you want to be a front-end developer, you have to know any one framework here. That is JavaScript frameworks. Here JavaScript framework. Here the frameworks are here Angular, React.js, Node.js, like this. Any one JS, if they know, then they can be a front-end developer. These all topics I'm going to cover in our course.
Earlier Saturday lessons are.
Saturday, okay. Yes. I'll make you all in mute. Just 1 second, I'll back. What is your question? Framework. Framework will be covered as a separate one. In this course, I'm going to take HTML. These all topics what I explained. Yeah, to cover this content, I'll take nearly 40-45 hours of sessions. Okay, framework again it will take next 40 hours like that. Okay. Here we are in UI programming. That UI is whatever the web page you can see in the front page of the application, that only we call it as UI. Here, whatever the web page you can see in your application, that only we call it as front-end page or a front part of the application. Whatever you can see here, when you enter any URL in the browser, whatever the web page you can see, that only the front page of our application. Next, we can go for here. Next, I'm going for here to develop this front-end programming. What all required? Here, email ID, password. Once I click sign up button, I can able to log in for my application. For that particular application, you'll get error messages. That errors here what all involving in this front end we'll see. Here front end here if you right click and inspect element here, you can see that web page. Here doc type HTML head and body. Here we are discussing here doc type HTML head and body. So here itself you can see that output here at web page here doc type HTML head and body. Here if I remove the body part of the application, just see, you can see that basic code of the application here doc type HTML head and body. If I don't write the body tag, you cannot see any content here. Refresh, it will back. Here now if I write here doc type HTML head and body, inside this body tag, if I write any content, then it will show that output. Here you can see that here head tag is used to write our header information. If I don't write the header tag, what? See here I'm removing that head section. See, if I don't write the body tag, if I don't write the body tag, if I don't write the head tag, if I don't write the body tag, you cannot see any content. If I don't write the head tag, that output will come. Here, this way we can develop our output. Here, head and body. Head tag is used to write header information. Body tag is used to write body part of the application. Now you can see that how we can write that head and body, how we can display our output, you can understand. Here, now, this is one head and body. Under this, here, body tag is used to write body part of the application. Head tag is used to write header information. Here, doc type HTML. Under this, we can write it here, head and body. Now you can see that here, body part. If I don't write the body part, just delete. So if you are not writing the body part, you cannot see any content. If you don't write the head part, it is not showing the proper alignment for the application. Content will be there, but there is no proper alignment for the content. See here, I am removing that head. By that, you cannot see any content. So you can see the content, but there is no proper alignment for this content. No colors, no background, no center alignment. So this way you can see that output here. If I don't write the proper alignment for the application, I am not writing proper alignment for the application. So here, this way we can write it here. We can write our output like this. So this way we can execute our program. Here itself I am writing here doc type HTML head and body. This is the basic structure for the HTML page. So what all involving in the web page? Not only web page, it may be mobile app or a web app or a desktop app. Any application, front end will be there, server code and database. If you are submitting anything from the front end, it always reach to server code, access the data from the database, then it will back it input to front end page. That front end page will give as our output for our program. That way we can develop it. Okay, that is the way of, okay. Here doc type HTML head and body, we use it here for creating that application. Next here I am using here doc type HTML head and body, I am using here for creating content of the web page. Next here, when I write it here doc type HTML head and body, so here I am developing that HTML application. We always write it here doc type HTML. Under this we write here row to tag of HTML start and close like this. Here itself we can write it here head start and close, and here itself we can write it here body tag start and body tag close. This way we can write. Here head tag, this is the standard code for any HTML page. Standard code of HTML page we write like this. Here you can save it this file with 1.html. So this is the standard code of HTML. Where we write our code, where we can execute, we have to use some IDE for writing the code. IDE here it is integrated development environment. In text or Dreamweaver, here Dreamweaver, here VS Code, Sublime Text, Dreamweaver, or here Autumn, brackets here like this. We have some editors, so many editors we have. It's an integrated development environment. So while writing the code itself, it will give you that related methods and all. So when I write open tag, it will write closing tag. So all these information will come along with our web page. So if I am developing, so I have to use any one IDE. So if I don't use, no problem, you can run, you can execute your program. But if you are writing here, Autumn is a IDE. Yeah, if you don't use this IDE, you can run your program. But here, if you want to run with IDE, if you run with IDE, then it will be easy for development, easy for executing the program. Easy for development, easy for execution of the program. Here I am explaining here doc type HTML head and body. This is totally comes under HTML coding. Here I'm writing here HTML. This is our front end page. Front end page we can develop it with this all HTML code. Here next we can see here doc type HTML head and body. Here we are using here IDE. VS Code, Sublime Text, Dreamweaver, Atom brackets. Because of all these you can execute your code. Here next we can write it here. Because of this server code you can execute your program. So now this server side we have so many frameworks. Framework Java side Spring Boot, Hibernate is a framework. .NET side .NET frameworks we have. And IDE PHP Zend framework and Zend IDE we can use. Eclipse or NetBeans we can use it for Java development IDEs. And .NET, that Microsoft tool will be there. Some IDE will use it to develop .NET application. So everywhere they are looking some IDE. They are using some IDE for easy development. So if you know all these topics what I explained here, if you know all those topics, then you can develop complete application. Why we use frameworks? One complete application I can develop it by learning all these topics. But why this framework? Some extra enhancement we have. Single page application. Within the single page you can display multiple web pages. Like that npm server we use it, node server will install it. So some extra easy development environment. Ready-made framework is a ready-made architecture. Ready-made architecture will be available, so it will give you less time for developing the application. It will give you less time for developing the application. That way we can develop. Here, as of now, we are in front-end programming. To develop this front-end programming, we have to know how to use this front-end programming in developing our application. Here, server code, Java code, database code, all codes we use it here to develop our application. Here, JavaScript is a framework. So in this framework, you can see Angular, Node, React, like that. We can use it some frameworks. Because of that frameworks, we can develop our own. HTML 4 and 5, CSS 2 and 3, JavaScript, jQuery, Ajax, responsive design, Bootstrap, lessons as. These all topics will use it here to develop our output. Okay. Here these all topics I am going to cover in our course. But framework will be conducted by other faculty. I am conducting basic course and other faculty is conducting framework classes. But parallelly, if you want to run the framework classes, you have to wait for JavaScript topic here. Once I enter in JavaScript topic, that day onwards you can parallelly start any one framework. Angular or React or Node. If you know any framework, then it will be helpful to join as a front-end developer. After completion of 2 months or 2.5 3 months, parallelly if you start it, after 15 days you can start framework. So parallelly if you run both the courses and if you have time, 2 hours you are 1 hour for UI framework class. So if you spend 2 hours for classes, 2 hours you have to spend it for practice. If you spend 2 hours for practice, then only attend parallelly. Otherwise, don't attend. If you don't practice the class, after completion of the course, you cannot learn the subject. Okay. Here I am discussing framework. And that framework classes are Angular, React, Node. Any framework we can use it here to develop our output. Next one here, HTML. What is a HTML? What is the use of it? And if you learn this all topics, what type of websites we can develop. So I'll show you some attractive user interfaces here. Some attractive user interfaces. Here use Blink. This is one attractive user interface here, UI front-end page. Here you can see that how the blink.com, see here. So it is displaying one video here. If I go down button, see I'm clicking down button of my keyboard. See some content will come up. See content is coming up and points are rotating in the 3 dimension. Third dimension, 3-dimensional X, Y, Z axis. Here this type of output we can create it with our front-end programming. Here, whenever we click create account, we use blink.com. When I click down button here, you can see that output like this. See, every time the video is starting. Here, video is starting. When I go down and if I start it, again it is starting. So this way, video playing always starts here, and the content it is coming in this way. See, if I go down, see now you can see cannot see any content. Now you can see the content. Here, content blowing effect. This type of effect we can create it with our front-end programming. Using front-end programming, you can create this type of application. Here, from here onwards, you can scan. See here, mouse scan symbol you can see here. See, normally background black and content is white. If you mouse over here, you can see that background white, content black. This way. Here you can see that content will be like this, and here like this. This type of effect we can create it with our application. Here now you can see that here scan code we can write it like this. Next, here we can show you that content is moving in right to left direction. Here content will be displayed like this. Here this way we can create our output. See here scan code, QR code all will be there. Here this way we can write. Here scan go. Okay. So this type of attractive user interface we can create it with our front-end programming. Not only like this type anything you can create. Here another one more website. AVEC Drinks is one website. Here I am developing that website here. If you click down button here you can see that if I click down button here, the can will come up, and every refreshment time here I am refreshing my application. Here complete application structure is changing. Here once again if I refresh it, see how the content is changing here. Here every time content is changing here like this. Okay, means the theme of that application is completely changing. Theme of the application is completely changing here because of this. Okay, so when you click down, see content will come up. See content is coming up. Here content is coming up like this. This type of effect we can create it with our front-end programming. Here this type of effect we can create it with our front-end programming. This way. Here this way we can create our output. Okay. Here next we can write it here. This type of effect we can create it with our front-end programming. See when you click up arrow, see third dimension. Can is coming up and content is moving backside. Remaining area is transparent. When you completely reach the top end point, so complete clear picture it is showing. Background clear picture. See this way. Here this type of event handling all we can develop it with our front-end programming. Here when you click login page, it is separate page. Without entering any details, if you click submit button, you will get definitely error messages. Invalid email address or password, something we are getting as the error message. This error message I'll get it here without here with login. If I don't enter any details, just if I click login button, I'll get my details with this. Now you can see that how we can implement it. So if I click login button here, you can see that invalid mail address and password. Here suppose if the details are invalid, that time we have to enter our proper details. If I don't enter the proper details in the email ID and the password, then I cannot see my inbox page. If I enter the proper details, username, password, then only I can see that next page, login page of my application. Next login page of my application, I can show to the user like this way we can execute our code. So whenever we write it here, creating of application, we can do it here, login page here. So once I click login button, I can see that login page of my application. In this time, the details here, I can see that home page or a login page, whatever I'm creating here, that I can easily develop it and easily interact with my application. That way I can develop it. Here, I'm able to create my account like this and I'm able to implement my output like this. This way we can execute our program. Here next we are going for here front end page of our application. We can develop it with our programming like this. Next to how we can create front end page, this Amazon, this type of web pages, how to develop it here. In tomorrow's session, what I'll do, I'll give you 1 or 2 examples on each topic. On each topic, I'll give you 1 or 2 examples. So by that, you can understand how to use those all topics in the live deployment. I'll show you. Live deployment, I'll show you how to do it. I'll show you one real-time example. I'll randomly pick out one URL in front of you in every Saturday session. But Saturday, I'll cover whatever topic I covered Monday to Friday, that topic only I'll cover it in Saturday session in the project. At the end of the course, we'll completely remove the code and we'll develop it, whatever the last topic, that topic on the top of all what we use it for real-time development, that topic I'll use it at the end of the course. And Monday to Friday topic session, Saturday is a project session. Project time, if you required examination, I'll conduct what's exam, I'll conduct it. You can complete that sheet. I'll send to your mail or I'll give you in front of this. You can write all the answers here itself in the screen, or you can write it on the paper and you can take a picture and you can send to me. Or multiple choice questions I'll ask you. So that you can analyze how your practice is going. And then every session I'll upload it in one drive. Here Gmail drive will be created for us. So Durga Soft organizer will create one Gmail drive. The drive will be shared with us. Here Gmail drive, we can access this drive. You can see that all programs here. These all programs you can practice every day. So by that you can understand how we can implement our how we can implement our programming, how we can use it in the practice time. And if you miss any session here, by that you can understand here how to write the program and all. Anyway, I'll give you backup. Recordings, everyday recordings will be shared in this drive only. Here recording separate folder, I'll maintain it here. And we can test and separately maintain. These all folders, documents, paint files, programs, we can test and recordings. All will be shared with you. Okay. After completely learning this course, you can definitely you can, if you are zero in programming level, no problem, you can learn this subject. Why? Because if it is Java or .NET or Python, programming skills are required. But for this UI programming, no need. Tag-based programming, everything you can simply learn it here itself in the class. Yeah, up to now, any doubts? I'll make you unmute. Yes, if you have any doubt, you can freely ask. Yes, I cannot hear your voice. You think you are talking.
ఇప్పుడు నేను చెప్తాను సిలబస్ అంతా డ్రైవ్ చూపించింది, డ్రైవ్లో వీడియోస్ అప్లోడ్ చేస్తాను, సిలబస్ అప్లోడ్ చేస్తాను.
Are you asking me?
మండే టు ఫ్రైడే ఏమో క్లాస్ చెప్తాను.
He is talking with someone. Yes, any more doubts? Okay. That's it for today. We'll meet tomorrow 6 a.m. for the continuation of class. We are in web UI. Yesterday we discussed what is the use of HTML and all. Just little bit information we discussed yesterday. Here, next we are going for, here first of all, we discussed that topics. Here under web UI, what I am going to cover and explain. Here I am explaining web UI technologies. First topic is HTML4. Generally I will explain HTML4. Second topic is CSS2. Third one is JavaScript. Yeah, fourth one is HTML5. Then fifth one will be CSS3. Then sixth one is jQuery. Yeah, seventh one is Ajax. Yeah, eighth one is responsive design. Responsive design. Then here, eighth one is responsive design. And then ninth one will be bootstrap. Here, 10th one will be less and slash programming. Here, lessons. These all comes under our web UI program. Here, we are going to see these all topics are comes under web UI program. Here, lessons as, and finally, I will explain every Saturday and end of the day. End of the course, I will explain project session. So every Saturday I will conduct project session. Yeah, this way I will continue my class. So let me save it. 6 a.m. Today's date 16.
Ma'am, you are not visible.
Not visible.
Yes, it's not visible.
You can see my screen. I shared my screen.
We are able to
No, I
see.
can.
You mean
See, you can see my screen, right? Can you see what I am typing?
No.
No. So if not able to see my screen, you can rejoin the session.
Okay.
Yeah, we are discussing web UI technologies here. Under this, these all topics I am going to cover in the web UI. Here, under this, I am going to show you how to work with HTML, HTML4 and 5, CSS2 and 3. Here, like that, I'll discuss with you whatever topics all comes under this. Here, those all I'll explain to you. Here, what I discussed yesterday. Frameworks. Yeah. Okay. Not covered all the topics. Okay. So just I explained what all comes under here and IDE. Yeah. Here, when I enter any URL in the browser, here I can see one web page here. Suppose if I enter http://www.google.com. So when I enter google.com, I can see that Google home page. So whatever I am searching in the Google, that search result will come from the server page. Here it will, when I enter google.com in the browser, you can see that Google home page, Google logo, and here itself you can see that one text box and then search. Here once we click on that search item, here data will, here whatever data I am searching here, that data will go to the server page. Here whatever data I am searching here, the data will go to that server page. What we do here is, friends, we can connect. Here front end page always has to connect to the server has to connect to database. These all interactions you can see in every web page, not only Google, Facebook, Twitter, any web page, whatever we have, all web pages interact with the server page, the server will interact with database. These all interactions you can observe here in every front-end programming. In every front-end programming, you can observe this type of interactions. This is what we call it as MVC architecture. Model, View, Controller architecture. Here, view part, whatever I am developing here, MVC. Here, whatever the view, UI part I am developing here, that is view part. Here, model, view, controller. So what is this model? Model, we can develop it with our server programming. Here UI page, we can develop it as a view part. Here controller page, here you can see that it is with server page. This way we can interact. So IMVC architecture done, we always use view model controller architecture. This is the basic architecture for any application. It may be a mobile app or a desktop app or a mobile application or front-end application or a server application. Whatever application we have, all applications we follow the same rule. MVC architecture we follow for every application. Okay. MVC, model view controller structure, we use it here for developing our output. So next we are going for MVC architecture. We are using here to develop this type of output. Here to create any front-end page, we have to use view part. It has to connect to the server. Server has to connect to database. These all interactions you can observe here in every front-end programming. Here we can show you HTML, CSS, JavaScript, jQuery, Ajax. These all topics we can see in the view part. Okay. Under this view part, you can see this type of all interactions. All interactions you can see in every web page that is possible by UI page. Here UI page, we are interacting with the server page. A server will interact with database. Those all interactions you can observe here in every front-end programming. So as of now, I am discussing here, this is what here front-end programming, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, jQuery, Ajax. These all we'll discuss here under this front-end. Here, now what I am doing here, if I am developing any front-end page of our program, that always has to interact with a server page. Server has to interact with database. These all interactions you can see in every web page. Mobile app, desktop app, or a mobile application, web application, or an app. Okay. Here to develop this view part. So we are concentrating view part. This is what user interface. This is what here front end page of our application. Front end. So we are developing the front end page by a web page. To develop that front end page, we use this programming, HTML. We use HTML, we use CSS, we will use JavaScript, we will use jQuery. Like that, we will use these programmings to develop our output. Here, if you want to develop your application with HTML, HTML is a hypertext markup language. It is a hypertext markup language. It is mainly used to write content of the web page. It is a hypertext markup language. It is a markup language, tag-based programming. Here markup, here it is tag-based programming. It's completely a tag-based programming. We call it as markup language. These tags are here. Tag is here instruction to browser. We can give instruction to the browser. It is completely a tag-based programming. Tag is here instruction to the browser. To develop the front-end page of our application, we are using HTML. HTML, see here, this is one front-end. After login, I can see all my list of links. How many links are available for the next coming classes? All the links I can show like this. Okay. Here, I can show you that all the list of links like this. Here, it is showing here GMT time. According to their standard, they will develop that website. So GMT timing it is showing for us. It is not showing ISO timing. GMT timing it is showing for us. What all the past trainings? How many classes I have taken and how many classes recordings are available and what all the previous class links and what all the current class and the future class links. All I am accessing from database. So this web page is interacting with a server page. That server page will interact with database. So from the database, we are accessing these list of data. We are printing in a tabular form. So displaying the data from database using server language, we will access using front end, will display it in a proper format. So main theme of front end programming is If you have any data from the database, that data properly displaying the data properly, that it is possible by front-end programming. So we can able to display our data properly by using this front-end programming. So we'll learn that. Okay. Here, my recordings you can see here. In this, my recordings, what all my previous recording for your class. These all recordings I'll download it. See, I'll click download button here. After downloading these recordings, I'll create one drive for you. 6 a.m. drive, 6 p.m. drive, like that. I'll create one Gmail drive for you. Here in that drive, I'll upload all the recordings in one folder. Here, recordings in one folder, demo recordings one folder, documents, paint files, programs. In programs, separately, HTML4 programs, HTML5 programs, CSS2 programs, CSS3 programs. Like that, separate folders I'll create. In that, I'll upload all my programs. This way I'll continue. Here, I want to continue my program. Here, whatever programs I'm explaining with IDE. I'll install Visual Studio Code is my IDE. You can go with VS Code or you can go with Dreamweaver or Sublime Text. Any one IDE you can install from your side. If you want to install any this one here, you can install any one of the IDE. IDE here it is any one IDE. VS Code, Atom, Bracket, Sublime Text, Dreamweaver, Eclipse, NetBeans, any one IDE you can install to write our program. If you want to install this one here, if you want to install VS Code, you can install. So I'll write from my side, I'll write it in VS Code. Visual Studio Code, I'll use it as my front end. Here, development IDE. Here I'll explain each and every programs here. Documents, paint files, programs, everything I'll create it in my web page. So documents, HTML, all programs I'll explain to you. Here accordingly I'll explain everything in my application. Here recordings, programs, paint files, documents, everything I'll upload it in that drive. So from that drive only I can access that particular application. So I'm going to access that particular code. Here, whatever code I'm explaining here, this particular code, everything I'll upload it here. Paint files, how many paint files, how many paint I used, those all I'll upload. That way I'll continue my class. Okay. Here this drive will be shared with all the registered students, not same drive, your 6 a.m. drive. Your 6 a.m. drive will all the students who are having permission to see this, they only can access my drive. So today, third day of our demonstration. So we are done with the demos by today. I'll give you brief information of all the topics. Okay, tomorrow I'll start session 1. So HTML4 topic I'll start. HTML4 topic I'll start tomorrow. Class timing will be 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. If you are interested to move half an hour late, I can start 6:30 to 7:30. But not any other time. Yeah. Here for regular time 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. only. But if you are waking up late and if you have any issue, I'll arrange it 6:30 to 7, but not more than that. Okay, I have to go to office, so I cannot come late. 6:30 would work. Okay, depends on all the students. If all students are ready, well, regular session will start at 6:30. But this week will continue in 6 a.m. only. No change in the time for this week. Next week will be. So drive, if you want this drive, if you want not this drive, 6 a.m. drive. If you want the drive, complete your registration with Durga Soft organizer Bhavani ma'am. She will Your Bhavani ma'am will take care of all recordings, drives, uploads, take care of it. So you can contact her. She will share you drive. Yeah. Here we are in UI programming to create Bhavani ma'am's number. Okay. I'm sharing Bhavani ma'am's number in this chat window. Here HTML is creating hypertext markup language. It is mainly used to write content of the web page. Here content, basic content of the web page, we can develop it by content of the web page we can develop it by using HTML. Using HTML we can create it content part of the web page. So basic content part of the web page we can develop it by HTML. So this is Bhavani ma'am's number. You all can contact that number for further reference. Class link, information, so all you can access it from here. All informations you can get it from that link, from that number. HTML. So first today I'll explain brief what is MVC, what is front end, what is server, what is database. Just we got some idea on it. Now I'll show you 3 different websites where we are using different programs. So if you see here Facebook web page login.php. So it is asking me login. See, every web page will ask you login. Without login there is no web page. Why? Because if you log in, then only they can maintain your details in their database. They can maintain the number of users. I use my Yahoo account in Facebook. I cannot use Facebook account in Twitter. I cannot use Twitter account in any other place. So here that application should interact with the server. See here, this is our front end page. This is developed by front end, our HTML programming only. But the server code, what here HTML code. You can see here, this is totally HTML code. Okay. We'll discuss that 6:30. Here we are writing here doc type HTML head and body. So you can see your content like this, doc type HTML head and body. Now here doc type, here it is a document type, HTML tag, head tag and body tag you can write on this. Here doc type, here it is document type, whatever document type we are using here, that doc type we use it here for creating our application. Here next we are using here doc type is a document type. You can see that complete information of this program HTML head and body. So by that I can understand this page is developed by HTML programming. So once I submit my application, this data is reaching to PHP server page. So this is one URL. Here in this URL, this is URL, one example for front end is interacting with. Here this is our UI page. UI page always interact with the server page. That server page we are a PHP page. PHP page will interact with the database. This type of interactions you can observe here in every front-end programming. In every front-end programming you can observe this type of interactions. Here every front-end page will interact like this. Here we are interacting our Facebook page. Facebook page is interacting with, here we are writing here Facebook page. That Facebook page is interacting with the PHP page. PHP is interacting with the server. So I will show you one more example here, Oracle create account. Here you can see that Oracle create account. So if you check that Oracle create account page, that is where here HTML only. That web page is developed by HTML. See doc type HTML head and body. Here you can see that doc type HTML head and body. Here also you can see text boxes, button, radio button, drop down list, everything you can see. But I cannot use my Facebook account to log in Oracle. So that's why I have to create my account with this. Alright. So if I click sign in button
Okay,
here,
okay, sir. There
suppose
is
if I am
no
clicking on
possibility
the
to talk
sign in
with
button
sir,
for
but
my
we will
application,
give that
I can able
information
to
and
read my
access.
data.
You
See,
want
I
which
can able to
course by
read my
Durga, sir?
application, all zip code and all informations I can show you like this. Okay, this way I can create.
Okay,
Here,
okay,
if
sir.
I am interacting
Sir,
my
is this
Facebook
your
page
WhatsApp
here,
number?
that Facebook page always interact with the server
Okay,
page, the
sir. I
server
will
always
send the
interact with
details
the
regarding
database.
Java
These all
AI
interactions you
features.
can observe here in every front-end programming.
Once
In
go
every
through it
front-end
and
programming, you can
you
observe
can
like
pay the
this.
payment, we
So
will give
next we
access
are
within
going for
24 hours.
here in front-end
Okay,
programming, you
sir.
can see this type of visit. So
Now I will
now
send
what
the
I am
details,
doing
sir,
here,
Facebook
this is
link.
what here front-end programming. In this front-end programming, I am able to show my output to
Yes,
the
sir.
user
WhatsApp.
like this. The
I will
next
send.
one here,
Okay, sir.
when I create my account with this Facebook, see, here I want to sign in for my application. If I sign in here, I can show you that login page of my application. But observe here URL, left right side, you can see totally HTML coding. But here URL is JSP. JSP here, by this we can understand here server code. Here I am using here front-end code as well as server code here. This server code is developed by here UI page, it is interacting with a JSP page. JSP page is interacting with database. These all interactions you can observe here in every front-end program. In every front-end programming, we can see that how we can create that server code. Server coding here, UI page is interacting with the JSP page. The JSP page will store our data in database. These all you can observe here in every front-end programming. In every front-end programming, you can see this type of result. Next, we are writing here. We can able to create our database. We can able to write our data like this. Next, here I am showing this front-end page is interacting with the server page. Server is interacting with database. These all interactions you can see. See one more example here. Two different web pages here. One is PHP page. One is Java page. Okay. Here a similar way. If you check here W3 schools. W3 schools is one here. Here I want to learn W3 schools Oracle. See here ASP. Here if you check that output here ASP. ASP here it is active server page, it is related to .NET. Here ASP here it is active server page, it is related to .NET programming. So we are using here .NET programming to create our application. Here front-end page is by HTML. So I am using here HTML programming. Here UI programming. This UI programming is interacting with the .NET framework, that is our ASP, active server page. This will store our data in database. So what is common here? In three different websites, what is common here? Front-end. So front-end is common for every application. Server, databases, maybe anything, MySQL or SQL Server or Oracle or MongoDB or Sybase, any database you can use. If you are developing your application here, that should be a front-end. Here, Facebook, Oracle, W3 Schools, all are using our URL is interacting with the server page. Server page is always interacting with the database. These all important for every program. For every front-end to server, server to database. In all programmings, this is very important. Okay, here front-end or server page always interact with database. These all interactions you can observe here in every program. So here as of now, I am in front-end programming. Under this front-end programming, I am discussing here how to work with HTML. So HTML is a hypertext markup language. It is mainly used for creating content of the web page. It is completely a tag-based programming. We can create content part of the web page. Basic content of web page. We can create it using HTML. What is this content part? See here, this is one URL. Here, if I remove body tag, see, you cannot see any content. So HTML body tag I am using here to write the content of the web page. To create the content of the web page, we are using here HTML body tag. So if I don't remove the body tag, if I remove the head tag, see, I want to remove head tag of this application. Just delete it. So I removed that head tag, that output will come like this. Overlapping of content and images, videos, everything, it is coming like this. If I develop my website like this, no one will use my site. So CSS, we write it inside the head part. So body part, we write it total HTML tags. CSS, here it is cascading style sheet. Cascading style sheet. Here style part of the web page. So mainly style part of, we can create it using CSS. Using CSS mainly we can create the style part of the web page. So mainly alignment of web page, we can create it using CSS. Using CSS, basically we can create alignment of the web page. Basic alignment of the web page, we can create it with this CSS. Okay. Here content part of the web page, we can create it with this HTML. HTML is creating content part, CSS is giving alignment of the web page. Next, what we can do it with JavaScript. If I don't write this, it will come like this. So now I can show you how can we work out with CSS, HTML we observed. Next, how can we work out with the JavaScript? JavaScript, here major syllabus of our course will spend on JavaScript. Almost 20 hours will sit for JavaScript. JavaScript gives you functionality of browser. Here basic functionality. Here functionality of browser, we can create it using JavaScript. Using JavaScript, we can create functionality of browser. So what is our functionality here? So what is the use with the functionality here? JavaScript majorly creates functionality of browser. So what all the functionalities we have? Here creating cookies, creating local storages, creating session storages. Here next here we can write it here, local storage, cookies, and then we can create validations. So something we are going to learn it under this. Okay, validation part of the web page we are going to see in your web page. So like this, object oriented programming in JavaScript, something we are going to learn it in JavaScript. That completely will learn it. 20 hours of sessions will sit on JavaScript. Here JavaScript adds you functionality to our browser. Practically I want to see where I am using JavaScript. So I want to create my account here, Oracle create account. So whenever I want to create my account, it will show one web page. Here I have to fill the complete application form. If I click submit account, see I am clicking on the create account page. So if I click submit button, you can see that web page will be like this. The total web page is like this. I am able to create my account like this. Here Oracle create account page I am able to display like this. Okay. Here I am creating Oracle create account page. So that page is developing like this. Oracle create account page, I can develop it like this. Next here I am using, this is what here Oracle create account, and that web page we can develop it like this. Next we are going for here Oracle create account page. This way we can develop it to create our application. So when I create my account with this, here I can able to create my web page. Here username, password, submit button, so and so I can create it. So this time what I am doing here, Whenever I create my account with this web page, I can easily submit my data. I can easily access my data. So here, when I create a sign in option here, so I can see that sign in page of that web page here, username, password, submit button. So when I enter my username and password, when I click submit button, I can able to connect to server page, that is JSP page. JSP page always interact with database. These all interactions will be there for every web page. See, I am getting this red color error messages. This text boxes, submit buttons, and this layer all by HTML. Background image, rounded corner, font color, font size, and color of the red color message, and need help, these all red color, and cursor changing, these all by CSS. Text boxes, password box, and submit button, all these things are by HTML. Background image, rounded corners, here mouse over time displaying some content in color. Here this content in font size and font color is by CSS. Without any data, if I submit it, it is giving error message, right? This error message we can develop it by JavaScript. We are using here JavaScript to create validation part. Validation here without any proper data. If you click submit button, you will definitely get validation error messages. Validation error messages we can get it once we click submit button without any data. So that we can do it here with our front-end program. Today we discussed here what is the use of HTML, CSS, JavaScript. JavaScript giving functionality, so validations, red color error messages. CSS giving alignment. If I don't write head part for the application, total alignment of the web page is missing there. Here HTML is creating buttons, radio buttons, submit buttons, all by HTML. CSS is giving alignment of the web page. JavaScript is giving functionality of browser. So functionality, all functions we can create it with JavaScript. Next we can write it here jQuery. Here jQuery. jQuery is one more topic we are going to see in our program. Here jQuery is used to create jQuery programming, where we use it, I'll show you. Here jQuery programming is an external library of JavaScript. It's an external library of JavaScript, we call it as jQuery. Here jQuery, here it is external library of JavaScript, we call it as jQuery. So what is the use with this jQuery? How we can use it? What is the implementation? If you download any jQuery file from the Google, so present version of jQuery is jQuery 3.6.1.js. If I add this jQuery file to my project, I can implement all JavaScript effects. We can easily implement it without writing more lines of code. jQuery nothing but JavaScript, but that JavaScript you can write it with all codes. So I'm writing some code here. The external library of JavaScript is jQuery. That jQuery we can write it here. So we are writing here external JavaScript code. With that we can implement our code. See, when I write jQuery cycle.js, when I download jQuery UI.js, UI.js, jQuery validation.js. So by downloading all these files, we can easily implement our jQuery implementation. Here, when I download these files, how the output will be. See, here jQuery cycle.js. So just I am searching for jQuery cycle. See, you can see in that web page, see all different slideshows. This is possible by jQuery cycle.js. Otherwise, you can write so many lines of code with JavaScript. If you download jQuery cycle.js, you can create this type of shuffling effect, zooming effect, fading effect, turn down, curtain X, scroll right, like this, so many effects with this. this type of effect to create this shuffling, zooming, fading, turn down, curtain X, scroll right. Because of all these, we can easily develop our application. If you are developing your application by all these, we can easily implement our code. Here we are writing here shuffling, zooming, fading, scroll right. So because of all these, we can create our effect for our application. So this way we can execute our program. jQuery cycle.ts is used to write cyclic rotation of images. Similar way, you can write it here jQuery ripples. Rippling effect you can see here. You can see that jQuery water wave movements. Water rippling effects we can create it with this jQuery. See, you can see in that application all water wave movements we can create it with this jQuery. See here, it is showing some image here. If I move my mouse, you can see that water wave movements. See like this. Water wave movements I can create it with this. Okay, here I can create water wave movements like this way we can create our output by jQuery. See here. If I click it, it is coming like this. This is jQuery water wave movements. So like that, we have so many things under jQuery. We'll discuss one by one all the topics and I'll show you with example. Okay, with example, I'll show you how to write it, all the topics, what is the use of each and every topic. I'm explaining here. HTML creating content, CSS is giving alignment, JavaScript is adding functionality, jQuery is the external library of JavaScript. By adding this, you can create plenty of effects. Tomorrow I'll show you responsive design, Ajax, Bootstrap, lesson plans, and I'll show you 1 or 2 examples with all these topics. HTML4, 1 or 2 examples. HTML5, existing batch examples I'll show you with VS Code. Visual Studio Code and use it to write the program. I'll show you my execution with that VS Code. Okay, that way I'll continue my class. That way only I'll execute my programs. Okay. This is about here today's topic VS Code. Today's topic up to jQuery we discussed just brief information about. Tomorrow I'll go with the examples and remaining all topics. With example I'll show you remaining all topics. Next, I'll go for here after all these things. I'll go for first topic of our course HTML4. So 3 days demos I conducted 14, 15, 16 of November. If you want this recordings, you contact Bhavani ma'am. I shared her number in the chat window. You copy that number. And if you are willing to join for this course, complete your registration today itself with Bhavani ma'am. She will share you one drive with you. Tomorrow link will change. Before coming to the class, you can ask for a link. She will share you link, tomorrow's link, and tomorrow I'll continue remaining topics, basic introduction, and I'll give you sample examples on each topic, and I'll explain to you first topic of our course. Okay, that is the agenda for tomorrow class, Thursday. Today, Wednesday, we are done with our introductions of few topics. Okay, tomorrow I'll go further few more topics. Next, tomorrow link will change. Before coming to the class, confirm your link, what they are provided for tomorrow class. Today itself, contact Bhavani ma'am, get your previous recording. Whoever missed Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday sessions, whoever missed, contact Bhavani ma'am. She will share your recordings and course content. Okay. If you respond to her call, then only you can get next link. If you don't lift to her call, you cannot get any further information. Directly coming to the class, not possible. Okay. Okay. And project session, every Saturday I'll conduct project session. Alternate Saturdays I'll conduct exam or multiple choice questions. I'll give you, whoever interested, they can write that exam. So by that it will be helpful to understand where you are, how your practice is going on. Like that you can understand. So I'm preparing every time question papers. Okay. Like that I'll continue. And I'm conducting morning 6 a.m. One batch. 6 p.m. I'm running HTML4 topic. If you want, you can join in 6 p.m. That is backup. I can give you backup class there for 6 p.m. And 9 p.m. After 15 days, I'm going to start one batch at night 9 p.m. Morning offline batches. These all online batches. 6 a.m., 6 p.m. HTML topic. 9 p.m. After 15 days, new batch. And 12 a.m., 12 p.m. morning, afternoon 12 p.m. I started one new batch in offline. In Durga's of Maitrivanam, you can attend for classes and afternoon 12 p.m. Wherever you are convenient, you can join. Okay, offline, online, both places I'm taking. This is my more than 100th batch. I have experience in teaching. I already know how to teach this subject to the students, how they can grasp the subject, in what way I have to teach. Those all I already know that. So if you really stick with the course, with my classes, complete your registration, lift Bhavani ma'am's calls and contact Bhavani ma'am. I shared that number immediately. So by that you can get next further links, class recordings, drives, any materials, course content, everything you can get it from Bhavani ma'am. If you not contact her, if you don't lift her call, so you cannot get any further references for the next classes. Thank you. If you have any doubt, you can ask.
What is the duration of this course?
Your duration here next 2 months. You plan it like next 2 months. Duration generally I'll take 40 to 45 hours. 40 to 45 hours of sessions based on project sessions, excluding project sessions, projects and exams and all. Almost 2 months. You plan for next 2 months for this course.
What is the timings for Saturday?
Saturday depends on the student. I'll ask Friday. Whichever time convenient to you, that time I'll arrange it. But it is in morning session only, 7 a.m. or 6 a.m. That is depends on the student.
Okay. So while teaching the class, we are not we can